What's going on, guys? What's going on? So, I want to thank Thomas for a gift that I cannot be more grateful for. I mean, this guy is, as Lady said earlier, a force. And that's very applicable to his generosity, which I appreciate. Wanted to do a bit of a casual stream because I'm a little out of it. I'm a little out of it, probably from fasting. I was eating bread, and I don't know exactly where the end of the rule is as far as meals while fasting. So I'm in a bit of a dazed state of mind, and maybe you guys can help me out here because I don't know. Is this going to be a sleep stream? You know, I'm not too sure how real that subgenre is in terms of streaming. I'm not on D Live anymore, checking out that kind of content. So I don't even know how real it ever was. Maybe that's another 4chan Twitter meme that I took too serious, among many other things. So wanted to do a bit of a casual stream. I want to go off a little bit here. So I went to that event at Fresno State. It was John Doyle, Kai Schwimmer from TikTok, and we went and saw the Batman. And it was a VIP. One of our friends was upset because it was like a $20 private screening. And he literally walked out of the theater out of disgust. The fact that we would pay $20. But this is the new Batman movie, okay? And these guys were coming out of state. This is a very reasonable proposition. So we got in. It's like free popcorn, all the popcorn you could want. And I think I got, was it Skittles? Yeah, that's right, Skittles. We went to the Target. Can I go off for a second on this? Two things, two very important things. You go to a restaurant and they don't have the mustard out. You have the ketchup at the end of the table and probably like Tabasco sauce, depending on which restaurant you're going to. But you got to ask for the mustard. And this is a very modern thing. This is one of the worst aspects of modernity. Because prior to the 21st century, you had representation of mustard and ketchup, both on display. And now it's like it's a big favor. Thomas is texting. Now it's like a big favor to ask for the other condiment. And is this something that you guys have noticed too? Because it seems like, I don't know, people that would rather have ketchup are pleased with this, of course. They don't even notice the difference. But somebody like me, my demographic isn't being appeased to in the same way. So I don't understand what's going on there. It's such a random thing. It's like if you had to ask for silverware. It's like if they gave you your food and they didn't have napkins. So again, it's just one of those. I was thinking about this right before the show. That minor discomfort is almost worse than being uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, like if you're sick for a day, there's a support system for you. It's so bad, but it's almost an event in itself. You know what I'm talking about? Being sick is something people understand, and there's accommodations for it. when you go from 100% comfort to 70%, people say that's life, and that's when you gotta, you know, pull up your bootstraps. But there's less support for that, and so I would argue that's worse, because at least when you're below 50%, everything is accommodated for you. So that was you know, a loose thought that I was having while getting ready. I don't know. Maybe I got to read Schopenhauer's Noise essay, because I think that's applicable to what I'm talking about here. I haven't read it. I saw a YouTube channel that was kind of creating compilations of some of these writings, and I think I got to revisit that one, because I was feeling it right before the show. I don't know, man. And people say that's like dramatic too, but that's a very underrated thing. Yeah, see, lady knows what I'm talking about. It's not just me. And I'm in California. I bet in the South they don't do that. I bet in the flyover states, you know, like I said, it's modernity. In the most preserved part of the nation, a lot of that weird stuff, just random changes, probably don't happen. So anyways, the thing that I actually wanted to go off on, that was a tangent, is I lost those aviators that I was wearing during the Batman review. So I don't have those anymore. I think I thought I had another pair. They're probably in another room, but so I lost my aviators that I bought in Florida. So not very pleased with that. Kind of a rough thing. I think, because I think I put them in my right pocket, and I think they slid in the seat. So for anybody who's going to see what's that Viking movie coming out, The Northman? Kind of want to pick your guys' brain on that, because I think I'm going to go see it. Oros, dude, do you want to jump on here for a sec? I feel like you can empathize with my plight a little more intimately than most people. You know, I shouldn't even complain, because my another friend of mine, he had Ray-Bans, and they were like expensive, definitely more than mine, and they didn't find those. They found someone else's glasses, but they didn't find either of ours. So I was very upset. To kind of get over it, I went over, because there was a Minion. There was someone in a Minion costume in the theater when we were trying to get our glasses back. So I got a picture with the Minion. And, you know, not ideal, but I think that makes things a little bit better. Maybe if I had gotten my glasses, I wouldn't have the wherewithal to even approach him. But before we got lunch, I did get a picture with the Minion, and I think that's cool. So all is not lost. Goodwill sells fly sunglasses for $2 a pop. Might have to do that. I don't remember the last time I was at Goodwill. Maybe like yeah, the California difference is probably different. Your soothing voice. Thank you, Oros. I appreciate it. I appreciate being the ASMR for today. Am I saying that right? I remember when I was in school, I think I spelled with. This was scary, man. I spelled like the or with, and I was like staring at it for like a couple of seconds, wondering if I was spelling it correctly. And I was losing my mind, is what was happening. So that's what that reminded me of. Ace Hardware has sunglasses. Well, it's very fitting. Dominion. So true. So true. I just finished writing. So somebody called me out for my arms the other day. That's not why I'm wearing the hoodie, but Oro, since you brought up Pump and Iron, if I wanted to start this hypothetically, if I wanted to convert to the gym cell archetype, can you give me like some pointers? You're probably a lot more well versed in this than me. I'm a beginner, man. This is not my field of expertise, so I'm gonna need some insight from the audience if that's okay. My friends are counter signaling, talking about, if you're not a gym cell, if you're not a brain cell, if you're not on the dean's list, you're basically not right wing. And I should probably do some more self improvement just on their behalf. Fit, okay, big brain content. See, that's the other thing too. I'm not up to date with the threads on this stuff too. I miss out on all the content. I can't have that, man. I'm already, forget about a drought. I'm playing catch up with the catch up. So, yeah. And I know some people say 4chan is completely tainted. I wouldn't go that far. But for the sake of my friends, I think I gotta pull-ups, push-ups, incline bicep curls, those tricep things where you hold the dumbbell behind. Yeah, what's that thing, right? This is a very cringe anecdote, but I remember the guys from what was it, Funhouse? The Funhouse crew is like, those, it's kind of like the Jackass crew. There's just something off about the whole friend group thing, friend group. And I remember they were talking about doing a lift like over your head, which isn't even a pull-up. And anyways, as far as like my knowledge of weightlifting, it extends to the point of Rooster Teeth members. So that kind of says it all, doesn't it? Deadlifts are great. Any of those compound movement. Interesting. Well, this is a lot better than I was before I started the stream. So eat a lot more calories. Listen, man, my non-existent diet doesn't need any updates. Okay, this thing where I eat nothing, I think that's pretty good. I think that's a very underrated diet. I don't know, man. What's got a lot of calories in it? Tell me, folks. Tell me. Give me the food pyramid. My dad got this book about grains, so I'm gonna need some more context. Okay, what is the gym cell diet? What is the Bronze Age pervert diet? The raw egg nationalist diet. I'm gonna need all the pointers I can get, because I'm hearing a lot of critiques from the audience. Okay, so I maybe for the sake of the channel, I mean, it wouldn't be very fair if somebody who had like a cable network show wasn't even giving the right content. So maybe this is the kind of stuff that we need. Beef's the way to go. See, I wanted to eat a steak. Wanted to get back into steaks. Shake hands with beef. Keep it simple. Interesting. Supermodel 10 watercress. See, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. This is all gibberish, okay? I'm not following these Twitter accounts, okay? You're gonna have to get a lot more specific. This isn't very receptive to me. Eat steaks before Bill Gates gets rid of them. That is true. That's the other incentive, is I'm not going to be able to. It's going to be a bygone era, having all these food choices. It's going to be that'll be the real tradition. That'll be the other tradition, rather. What's your favorite Primus song? See, I was hoping somebody caught that. Can we talk about Primus for a second? Because I was watching Woodstock 94. I was hyped, okay? I was hyped. I was bouncing off the walls listening to that. Here Come the Bastards. That specific version from that show. It's great, man. It's great. Favorite Primus songs. Okay. See, here's the thing. I think Pork Soda is my favorite album. I don't know if that's controversial. What is it? The Sailing on the Seas of Cheese. That might be maybe more consistent. I'm not sure. But Pork Soda's got all my favorites. That's man. I don't know what's fit, because to me, Fish On, that is such a strong closer, and it's such a brooding riff. I want all their songs to be like that, honestly. Pork Soda has a Welcome to This World. That's a standout. I forgot what the title track sounded like. Mr. Crinkle is probably my favorite Primus song, and probably one of my favorites overall in the past like 2 years. Just I keep returning to that one. And of course, the music video. What else can you say about that? But yeah, what else? What else? Brown Album has that metal song. What is it? Camelback Cinema? Is that? Yeah. Camelback Cinema. That repetitive drum. It's not repetitive. That's how you want it. What else we got? Anti-pop. What's the? I'm trying to think of not just the the singles. But man. But yeah, those are some of my favorites off the top of my head. Here, let's pull up some of this. Well, what are okay? I need your guys' help. Okay, see, I've probably overall listened to more Smiths than The Cure. I'm biased, so I'm biased. But I do like what is it? What's the one that's got? What's the one that's got Fascination Street? Hold on. Let me share this with you guys. Okay, so see, sorry to say, but this is probably like the closest album I like, and not by much. But as far as like the Smiths, I don't know. To me, it's kind of take it or leave it. I don't even want to say that because it's, to me, I just got a different speed. And to me, like what's really, the Gothic post-punk stuff, I really like Susie Sue. I think that's my thing. Susie Sue and Sisters of Mercy. Those are the bands I cling to more over The Cure and the Smiths. I know that I don't want to cause any conflict because I know it's all kind of part of the family. I just prefer a lot of Susie and the Banshees overall. Dude, Juju is like, okay, you got, see this, you'll be able to tell like why this is like this band is more receptive to me over me trying to think of like Primus songs. Juju has the single, which is Spellbound, which is great. Okay, it doesn't matter how overplayed that is in that scene, it deserves it. Okay, it is a perfect. It's accessible. You can show that to somebody, and they're not, oh, this is doom and gloom. This is new wave but dark. This is like up tempo and upbeat. Okay, it's a positive sound. You could show this to your parents, your friends. It's not polarizing. Okay, Juju has Halloween. It's got Night Shift. And again, understand the atmosphere with Night Shift, okay? That is such a perfect vibe. I can't even put it into words. The way that that thing just builds, okay? And I was re-listening to that album the other day, and it's that's how you know I'm not just like with the Smiths, there's not like an intimate relationship I have with any of those albums. And The Cure, it's like I listened to Disintegration, and it's not full love. It's just okay for me. But with the Susie Sue albums, I remember listening to The Scream and just thinking like, wait a second, Jigsaw feeling. Maybe it was her voice, but it's just a different vibe. Okay. And I didn't even know like really what she looked like. Okay. So it wasn't like that wasn't like the selling point, but it's like her voice, if you compare Joan Jett with Lita Ford is more of she's more like guitar oriented and Joan Jett is voice oriented. Cause in the Runaways, I don't know how much Joan Jett did the lead, but Lita obviously has the monopoly in that band on that front. With Susie, she's got that Joan Jett vibe where the songs maybe on their own musically don't stand, but her voice elevates it. Okay. So I think that's what really stood out. And it also reminded me of kind of like Concrete Blonde, where like Jonette and Thomas talks about her, thankfully. I don't know too many people who know these bands. It's kind of in this weird subgenre between like rock and metal. It's got like the darkness of metal, but the sound is a lot closer to like the CBGB's bands. Ideally you would want like some of the darker bands from CBGB's to be in the mainstream, and they kind of were probably in the early 80s. I know that song Happy House was kind of got their foot in the door a little bit. I'd be kind of curious if you guys think like after like Juju, it's kind of hit or miss. But I do like Superstition, which around that time, Susie was doing the Batman soundtrack. Was that Batman Returns? What is it? What's that song? Tic Tac Toe. Is that Kiss Them For Me? Very weird music video too. It's just like it's like them posing or whatever in all these like Batman aesthetics. I don't know. There's something about that era that I think is a lot better than what is it? What were those albums? Hyena and like the 80s stuff. To me, like the early 80s is so distinct. It's like Rush, It's like comparing Moving Pictures to Hold Your Fire. It's very different. It's both 80s Rush, but you wouldn't conflate Tom Sawyer and Limelight. You wouldn't compare that with all the latter stuff, like Signals. But anyway, bringing it back to Susie, do you guys like the post Juju albums? To me, it's hit or miss. Like there's a song called Scarecrow off that weird artsy album that's got her face like in this painting. I don't know. Is that just me? Because to me, I don't want to say they got too commercial, but they really got close to that sound, and it didn't quite translate well musically, I don't think. With Superstition, it's funny because Susie Sue in what I assume is a lip sync performance, she looks probably the most normal she's ever looked in her whole career in this like latter half of their era. And she looks like Madonna, funny enough. And it's funny because this is around like when the Dick Tracy movie was out. So I don't know if I'm making too many connections, but yeah, that album is surprisingly, even though it's probably the most pop they've ever been, because what's that? Fear of the Unknown. It's like a dance song, but it's still Susie. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Again, I know music. You're not supposed to look at it from this mathematical perspective. It really is like David Lynch says. It's feeling. Okay. If you're trying to understand the logistics of why this stuff is receptive, you're really missing it. And with Superstition, even though that's probably more commercial than Hyena, I'll take Superstition any day of the week because it's got that sound, okay? But I don't know. Is that just me? Punk Aloud. Dude, okay. Can we just reminisce on this for a second? We lost the goth girl demographic, okay? They have been ethnically cleansed from the 21st century. Goth girls have had their entire culture appropriated by LGBT. This is not even like a hyperbolic statement, okay? We lost the Hot Topic shoppers due to modernity. And if that's not like a war crime, if that's not like the lowest depth that a person can sink to, I mean, what is comparable to that? Okay, you had this little, Avril Lavigne demographic just completely tainted by the culture, and it's people would project and say, "Wait a second, what you're wearing all this stuff. Well, what does that imply?" And whereas, like in 2002, you could say this is the goth girl thing. Flash forward to today, and it's got to be wrapped up in all this weird stuff. And it's not all one big thing. There's nuance to it. Back then, it wasn't. It just wasn't the same. Okay. And it's like nobody. I don't see anybody on anywhere talking about this big shift. And it's with the youth too, no less. It's very, again, this is like the victors of history are not going to write about this very underrated aspect of the culture. It's like people saying that punk started in the UK. You're going to have those people saying that, we never lost the goth girls. They were always like this. And it's like, no, wait a second. You have the Ramones in America. They do a tour in Europe. What was that concert that had Joy Division, Susie Sue? It had all these what would be like the post-punk of like late 70s, early 80s. And like everyone at that show went out and started bands. It was kind of like this like cultural imperialism. You had this show. I don't think it was the Ramones, but the Ramones did a show. And then after that, you got the Sex Pistols. And people say the Sex Pistols started punk, which isn't true. It's that same dynamic with like the goth girls. People are going to write your kids are going to write in their English essays about how goth girls were always very degenerate and they did all this stuff because I don't even know what people listen to now. They're going to say that Avril Lavigne wasn't even like a pop icon. They're going to, whatever the latest thing is that people on TikTok are listening to, that's going to replace the 2000s youth culture. I mean, imagine that. Very underrated stuff. Yeah, the distinction between goth and emo, very important, very important. It's, yeah. I got to be able to maneuver through like the Britpop. I saw a lady, you were saying that in someone else's chat. Might have been Academic Agent, but that whole scene is, I need to get more acquainted with that whole thing. I like a couple of songs off. Nah, dude, the whole thing. Okay, pause. Oh, dude, what's going on? Yeah, he's talking about a couple of songs, dude. Hold on a second. No, dude. Wait a second, man. Dude, Monitor. Monitor is like my favorite Susie and the Banshees song because it's got everything. Okay, it's got, with Monitor, weird riff, like a Deftones type riff. I don't know if I want to edge into that too much because Deftones is kind of polarizing, but it's got, you know what I mean? It's got that muddled riff, which isn't very appealing, and especially to like metal fans. You got to be careful with some of that stuff because that's when it gets too much into alternative, very dated 90s. But it's fine. It's fine. We're okay with that. You get into that riff, and like I said with Jigsaw Feeling, you got the hypnotic vocals, and then it's without the effects, no special effects on the vocals yet. And then when you get closer to the chorus, that's when you get the overlay, or there's some type of delay where her voice just echoes in this very cool way. And then the riff kind of transitions into this like more of like a metal shredding sound. You can still hear the filter over it, but it's different. Okay, you wouldn't say it's like super alternative, but it's riding that line between what metal fans like and what's kind of popping off with the alternative crowd. That, and you know, this is early 80s, so obviously in the 90s it's a different context, but to draw a comparison, that's why I reference it, is because it's different sounding. You know how like in the 90s people had like the filter over their voice as like an effect, kind of like a Stone Temple Pilots type deal. There's something like that happening with the guitar. And, you know, thankfully they never did it with her voice. I don't think that would have worked. And if you could find any flaw with that song, maybe like you don't need that effect on the song. I think like the guitar sound from the Scream is a lot better. You don't really, and even like Spellbound, that's a very clean sound. You don't really need all these filters. Maybe they were like trying out different stuff, like with Kaleidoscope. Is that album? Because Kaleidoscope's the one that gets all the praise, and I'm not so down on it. I don't really think that's a super commercial album. Yeah, Kaleidoscope, that's the one that came right before. See, okay. Kaleidoscope, what is it? Tenant? What's the second song? Tenet. Okay, Tenet, that's like right up your alley with the preceding albums. Okay, it's the same vibe. Christine, commercial, single song, but again, still clean, like you would say with Spellbound. And then like Paradise Place is probably the best song on the album because it's got everything. It's got the old tone mixed with the new sound. Perfect. So I'm not so critical of Kaleidoscope as this big changing point. Anyways, I need to get back into the Pistols. I was on Spotify, and Johnny had he had that song Disappointed, which I think was a single. Yeah, the music video. It's got a music video. And you know, I haven't listened to that stuff in a while, so I gotta get familiar with it. I remember listening to rather their first album after the Pistols broke up, and it was kind of like watching Mulholland Drive for the first time. It's so different that you don't really have any reference point for how to make sense of it. So now that time has passed, I think it would be more receptive to kind of try it again. But yeah. So oh, wait a second. What is this? Oh, this is the comment. Sisters live bootlegs. See, yeah, I gotta listen to more live stuff from Sisters. I don't even mind that. I don't mind that last album they did. Was it Vision Thing? Vision Thing's not that bad. That's probably their most like rock album. But dude, Dr. Jeep and what is it? She Looked Good in Ribbons. That song. Ribbons is like this psychological. I mean, I don't know how. I guess because it's a change, but there's that song "More" that kind of is more in sync with Floodland. So again, just like Kaleidoscope, people say, "Oh, this is a big, this is such a big change." There's gems on that album that are for the older audience. You can't just base songs off the single. You can't do that, man. I don't think, like, what's an example where like the most popular song represents the album? It seems to be the opposite. Everything that I can think of. Yeah, I got to be careful. Did you ever get into Public Image? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Disappointed. Yeah, but I got to try it again. It's been a while, so I don't want to give it a rating just yet. I want something to eat, man. Dude, I want something to eat. Kaleidoscope had the Happy House on. You ever watch that movie, Edgar Wright? He just put out that new movie. What is it? Last Night in Soho. It's a very British movie. If you guys are European, that movie is like shilling straight to you guys because every song on the soundtrack was like British. It's a very like it's like a love letter to a bygone era, and you know the main character is nostalgic for the '60s British culture. But there's a scene where she goes to a dance and they play Happy House, and I put out a tweet about you shouldn't have picked that song. You should have picked another one, and I forgot what it was. It was a song that had to do with like the dual personality, and I thought it was a song from Kaleidoscope. Anyways, it would have been more fitting, I think. Okay, I don't know how well read Edgar Wright is. Based on Baby Driver, the guy's got some interesting music tastes that goes beyond some of the surface level British invasion. Candyman? No, not Candyman. See, like stuff like that, it's too different. You know, it's the Hyena stuff. Like, when am I going to go back and listen to Hyena? You know what I'm saying? It's just different. It's the critique that Kaleidoscope gets would probably be more relevant to post Juju. I was talking to you and your friends first about the comment. Wait, what? Oh, Ace. That story about Thomas was true. The scene was set in a black void like an old Deus Ex mod. Wait, I once played with a beach in Tudor House. Wait, what? I was talking to you and your friends first about the comment Thomas made. I'm kind of out of the loop. Made of some woman. You were in an airport. Whoa, dude, what is going on? You were in an airport and then it jumped to the house. The metaphysics we were talking about. Oh, this is the dream from the other day in the other video. Is this a dream that you had or someone was saying? Johnny Lydon, yeah, dude. Johnny's, especially like the arc he's on now. He's like suing the other guys in the band because there's a Sex Pistols documentary or movie, something in the making, and he's hesitant about it. He went on some British show defending. You know, they said they never consulted him or something, and I don't know. Johnny just comes across as, even though he's got that boomer energy, it's a very positive boomer energy. So I remember when he was defending Brexit. You know, that if you guys remember that interview where he's like, I say I'm with them. You know, it's just a very like a warm-hearted thing. You pinned the comment on the splash. Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta revisit that. I haven't rewatched the other show. So I'll keep that in mind for what you're saying. Yeah, Johnny wrote that pro-life song on Never Mind the Bollocks. He got what was it, Bodies? It's you know, again, just stuff like that, okay? There's a lot of right-wing sentiment in a lot of these bands. And just yeah, I gotta watch Sid and Nancy again, man. I don't know if I've ever watched it all the way through. It's funny because they changed Sid Vicious's shirt to a hammer and sickle, and it's like, you know, to bring Carl Schmidt into this, you know, there you go. But it's just it's funny how even when you're making like even when you're talking about this like at the time extreme genre of music, you still gotta have like the video nasties, like that kind of change it up. Like what was the act called? Like Video Recordings, 1984. And when did that movie come out? That was with Gary Oldman. I'm not too sure. He's the son of Catholic Irish immigrants to England. Are you serious? Oh, I didn't even know about that. Wow. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Man. You know, Steve Jones, he went on and did his own solo album, Freedom Fighter. That was the single. I don't remember if that was the name of the album. But in California, of all places, he's got his own radio station where he plays like 80s metal, classic rock. I don't know exactly the rotation, but he's kind of gone more towards like the rock scene, contrast with the punk scene. It's kind of interesting because that solo album, it's very dated. You know, it's clearly in the 80s style, and so he's in the video, he's like shredding, he's like this bodybuilder type. It's very interesting. And then you got Sid Vicious, who's like a basket case. The Pistols are such a weird band, all these like contrasting personalities, and I don't even think that's what broke up the band, ironically. I don't, probably, but I don't know. That's like a band who, you know, talking about punk, that's a band that really kind of aged probably the best out of like those early bands. Oh, whoa, really? Frasier. I gotta listen to that. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. The event review 6 days ago. I had to do something at work and couldn't respond in time. Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you, man. Seamus, I appreciate it. Yeah, what else, man? Sisters of Mercy, dude. Sisters of Mercy. I forgot which band that broad came from. The one with the big hair. She was in like a punk band, and that was her scene. And then she goes into Sisters of Mercy, and it's this completely different vibe. You know what I mean? And even though you got, dude, Floodland, dude, you got to just listen to that album in your room, okay? You gotta let that album just wash over you. You know what I mean? It's just a vibe. And if you play GTA 4, that song Mother Russia, I mean, maybe it's from that game. It's like nostalgic for me to listen to them, but to me, that sound is so clean. You know what I mean? Gun Club. There you go, man. You guys get it, man. You guys get it. Never mind the bollocks. I might have that somewhere in here. Somewhere. And then they had the movie. What is it? The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. Man. Yeah, even from like a critic's perspective, if you wrote for Rolling Stone magazine, you know, going to CBGB's and just making sense of all this chaos that's happening in the music industry. And to kind of tie Susie and the Pistols, what was that show that they went on that got banned? Bill something, Bill Grundy, where they just let on. There's your original trash TV. There's your original, as Thomas said earlier, Geraldo, Jerry Springer type stuff. There's your British counterpart. There's your aging TV personality facing the youth, facing this force that's happening on the streets of the UK. That dynamic is just so interesting. What the man? See, it's too bad because like Debbie Harry could have continued. See, to kind of bring it with Debbie Harry's kind of a weird character because like Blondie has some of those punk motifs, like Detroit 442 on plastic letters. And even that first album, like what is it, like Attack of the Giant Ants? You got some like weird stuff like that. And then when she does Parallel Lines, it's like she's conceding, okay, the only way to make it out of CBGBs is to go commercial, and she does it. And then once again, like Susie in the 80s, mid to late, you can always bring back the sound from those early albums. You can always, once you've made it, you can do whatever you want. And it's like these people are content with that mid 80s sound. And it's too bad. I guess it's like what Dee Snider said. You can't really make rebellious music once you're successful, because then it's not authentic. You're not mad at anything. Things are going pretty well for you. How could the style of your music not change? So it's one of those weird things. It's like all the bands that made it out of the CBGB scene, they had to change their sound. And it's like the point of the venue is you got this melting pot. But from the manager's perspective, you gotta have a certain sound and things like that. Like the Talking Heads. I mean, what do you even call stuff like that? But I mean, they made it, but not like the weirder stuff. Not a lot of the stuff on like Stop Making Sense. I don't know. That's too bad. I mean, obviously, because we have the internet, it's not a big obstacle anymore. But you look back on that, it's like it would be like that movie Suburbia, or anything, like a Back to School. They're going to use the fact that because there's a punk rock caricature, really, in these movies. See, there's your representation. You guys made it. Okay, what more do you want? You got a seat at the table. You're mainstream. Yeah, but now it's different. Now it's not the scream. It's not join hands. It's all this ladder stuff. It's not youth nabbed by the sniper. It's Heart of Glass. So that dynamic, man, it's too bad. Devo, another good example. Yeah. What is it? Uncontrollable Urge. Well, I don't know. Devo's like the Talking Heads. It's the same thing. You don't want them to stick to one thing. That would kind of ruin the point. So there's a category for the bands like that. The ones that just kind of are kind of sporadic in that way. But dude, to bring it back to the Pistols, that show they did. Hold on a second. Can we pull that up? If I mute it, it's not going to be a copyright, right? Dude, that Pistol show they did in like 2008, where it's all the originals. People might say, "Oh, why would you do that?" Brixton Academy, is that the one? Oh, this doesn't look like. No. Wait a second. Yeah. I can show this, right? This isn't like. Win coach. This show. What are they? I think it's vacant. Pretty vacant. Is that the first thing? Oh man. Nah, do pretty. Pretty. That is such. You guys got to watch the show. Um. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, maybe it's not the first. Nah, see, they're already on stage. What's the first thing they did? Oh man. Sorry if it's a little. So what is it? There'll always be in England. That's right. Oh man, hold on. For you guys. Man. See, like I'm always on the outside looking at British culture. In this case, I can definitely see. Oh, and it is Julian Temple. That's the guy who made the movie. I just want to see them emerge on stage. This is like your unfiltered. Why do they have the California flag? All right, man. The dude, there's nothing like sellout about this. Okay, this is cool, man. This is like the celebration day, the Zeppelin show, the one off with Jason Bonham. Same thing. A bygone era return to the 21st century. Oh man, oh man. What does he say? Hold on. Wait, sorry about that. We're off the streets, we are. We're so back. Thank you for singing along to There Will Always Be England. Because as long as we exist, there fucking well will be. It is pretty vacant. All right. Man. That's interesting, Seamus. Interesting. Okay, it never had anything to do with the music. That's interesting. Yeah, I would be curious to get into like the talking heads of the not the band, but like the media circus that exists in like the UK. I should be more privy to that stuff since I'm interested on that from the American side. But I want to know like your guys' crazy people, assuming you guys are in the UK or somewhere near it. I want to know like the personalities, the people. I know like people like Piers Morgan, you know, people like that kind of jump onto the American bandwagon. But I want the lore. I want to be able to know this stuff the way I do like the American. Quite nationalistic sentiment. Maybe. Oh man. Yeah. No, that's all I had for you guys. I can't believe this lasted that long. I just wanted to have a little after party. Like Lady said, rock and roll. Rock and roll. Oh man. McLaren, the Pistols manager, was hugely divisive character for the group. Well, I don't even know. I don't know how you manage a group like that. That might not be a flaw on his part. Well, what do you do when you're the manager? You know, Zeppelin had Peter Grant, very like militant mindset of keeping these guys safe. And is there something comparable to the Pistols? I mean, those guys are like a wrecking crew. Man. Yeah. What else? What's another? Like, here, lady, I if you don't mind, I gotta ask, what's some of like the Britpop? I'm gonna go down this road. You can help me with some navigation here. Blur and Oasis. Okay, see, we're gonna have some trouble here if that's the standard. I admit, you know, America's got no shortage of cringe. I'd just like to make sense of this whole world since it's kind of in my periphery right now. Going to play some Banshees. You've inspired me. Maybe I need it for a curveball. Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I like that song Scarecrow. I forget which album that's on. See, that song's it's got that dark vibe. And the other stuff, Peter Grant was like a father. McLaren just wanted a cause division. Well, I don't think he needed any help with that. You know, I think it's the Pistols as is probably yeah, see, check this out. Check this out. Oh man, we got all this stuff queued up. Let me get here, you guys will like this. Sorry for the delay. One sec. I want to show you what I mean, all you Susie heads in chat. Also, do you remember that Cocoon? I mean, what kind of a band is bringing back jazz into the post-punk world? Again, not jazz as far as like chaotic, the chaotic side of it. I'm talking about like the smooth jazz, the like nightclub Blue Velvet type vibe. What was I looking at? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This look. Check this out. Oh, whoops. I don't have ad block. Excuse me. And I think this was the song that was in Batman Returns, which might be the best Batman movie. Dude, she's got this. Is that a snakeskin jacket? This is your ideal era for latter day Susie and the Banshees. And man, the smoke. And like I said, probably the most normal look out of all the eras. Because if we look at because this is 91. 91. Ah, whoops. I don't even know if that was the standard for the rest of. See, we're not even. See, she also had it in that music video. Yeah, because this is the music video. It's like an American look. It's like an America, like old Hollywood. Yeah, look at this. That's the most normal compared to like the punk look, which is, yeah, this like chaotic. Yeah, everyone's familiar with like a palm tree. And then, I wasn't a big fan of like that. If you Google or if you go on YouTube and you do like live Susie and the Banshees, it's like 2000. Like, one sec. It's one of the first results. See, like this is pretty good. That's a pretty good look. But one sec, I'm looking for something specific. See, I'm glad we got out of this. This is like the very beginning of the band. Where is she? Some classic Pistols here. Oh yeah, this. See, I'm glad this was like a small era for this look. And she almost looks like Kiss, which is kind of funny. And yeah, she was on that show with the Pistols wearing like very edgy stuff. But there's a recent live show. This one, yeah, the 7-Year Itch. And it's, again, I just want to contrast this with something better, okay? Because it doesn't have to be this way. And, not a big stage production. And that's fine. Oh, oops, I don't want to. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think later in the performance is when you really start to see the limitations. Yeah. See, okay. This is what I remember. So you don't have to do like this. What you could do is like the beginning of the video. And then, minus the jumpsuit. That doesn't really work in my opinion. Okay, yeah. But there was parts of this, if I remember right, were a lot better than that 7-Year Itch, because the 7-Year Itch, there was some controversy with that, and I think this is probably closer to like what a modern fan would appreciate. Anyways, we're getting a little bogged down here, but yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was married to Budgie. I think the Creatures, man. Huge fan of old Hollywood glamour. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. See, the Creatures, I can't even categorize that. A lot of that was like drum oriented. Not a lot of guitar, which is kind of a blind spot for me. So it kind of stood out. It was like listening to like Miles Davis. Yo, Jonathan Pohl, thank you for stopping by on a Friday night. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, okay, Richard. I'll check that out. We got some regulars in chat. I appreciate that. But yeah, lady, is there like your favorite Britpop bands? Because I might just delve into that just for curiosity's sake. What else? Hey, by the way, before I forget, the Rapture, the Rapture, okay? This is probably, that I can think of, the best way to end your career. Check this out. You got a sequence here. The Double Life followed by Love Out Me, because the Double Life, very moody, dark, but not like, it's, I guess it's open to interpretation, but it's I don't know like which mood people would associate it with, but it's this very dreamlike song. And then Love Out Me is this up tempo song that's got it's got a lot of guitar in it, probably more than the Double Life, but it's a very like vocally driven song. And the fact that that's like the last song on their last album, I think it's fitting. It really fits the band because this band's gone through a bunch of eras. So how do you conclude, going from the Scream to Kaleidoscope and then all this 80s flashy stuff in the mid to late 80s. And then, you're doing soundtracks with Tim Burton. That's a lot of genres too. Kind of start from the angsty punk and then get into like the up tempo commercial stuff. And to me, these two songs back to back, it's like both eras represented, the old and the new. I can't think of a better conclusion because like Van Halen was a band. The last song on the last album is Beat to Workin'. And it's kind of fitting because the band, they got to live their dream. And, I haven't looked at those lyrics, but I speculate it's very like they made it. It's kind of like a celebratory conclusion. And then obviously with Led Zeppelin, that wasn't the plan for that to be the last album probably. And trying to think of like other farewell examples because you can't really tell anymore with old bands returning. But I mean, those are the two that I can think of. Do I got some stuff here I could? Oh, I guess the Doors. Yeah, the Doors. That it ended with those two albums from without Morrison. So it's like a bitter thing. Rush with Clockwork Angels. Okay, there's another good example of a good finale. And then how about mine? Yeah, I mean, as bands, continue, it's hard. We'll see what the last album is, but for Susie, this band being so complex, the fact that they were able to end it right, because again, it was I'm kind of on the fence with a lot of that latter stuff, and so you would think I would have checked out by then, but the fact that they were able to conclude it like this, it's just very satisfying. Anyways, Over by 97, obvious, Oasis and Blur. Pulp, they were older. The real Britpop was over by 97 when Blair was elected. Is that serious? The Tony Blair influence over the British music industry? How real is that dynamic? Is there a, because I know like in America with Bush, a lot of country became patriotic. It was kind of the symbolic genre. So I can understand like a cultural shift in music in that way. But I don't know, like the things that I'm used to, like rock and metal, I don't really see a big shift post Bush getting elected. They say, someone said that like the best metal comes out when a Republican is president because there's more angst and all this, misguided rage. I'm curious if I were to like, if I were to compare like the Thatcher years to before and after. I don't know. I guess because you got, I don't really have that perspective to look at the decades in that way. So maybe. Okay. Yeah, Seamus, you're helping me out here. That's interesting. What we got over here? All right. I think we're winding down. Richard, what do you got here? Oh, really? Can I find that? Can I find that video? Thank you, Richard, for posting that. Is that the music video? Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, sorry for the quality. Yeah, I don't know. As far as like a public setting, as far as like a public setting, power to the people. There we go. There we go. Yeah, obviously yours is it's probably more organic. Yeah. Well, all right. Yeah, maybe this is a worthwhile detour. You said pulp. Was that somewhere up here? Let me see. Okay, they started in 78. And then what is this? This is like 90s, right? So like Blur and Oasis kind of starting around the same time. And then maybe you got some of these older bands. That's interesting. So it's kind of like a 90s genre. I could probably find more interesting stuff in here compared to like American pop, because American pop, I don't think, if I were to speculate, doesn't have a lot of influences. What you were saying about how it's like a media invention, that's probably how American pop is, and Britain is probably able to like take advantage of all the genres that originated there. How would people act today? Yeah, who knows? VH1. There you go. There you go. It seemed like at the time UK was the center of music, not just in rock, but definitely in dance music, which was the success of the decade, despite the institutional attempts. Really? Interesting. Nice, nice. I gotta find that concert. What's the concert that had, it's like late 70s. It's got all these people in this audience, and they went on to make bands. Oh, it was maybe Suede are one of those bands that could only be in 90s to me. This just reminds me in particular. Man, I don't know. I don't know what that show was. All right. Oh, dude, is Garak in here? Garak. Here, our good buddy just sent me this. Let me find it on Twitter. Where's the David Lynch Friday video? Let's find it. 12 hours ago. Yep. Here we go.
It's April 15, 2022. And if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again. It's April 15, 2022.
I got it. One sec.
And if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again.
So
It's
true.
April 15, 2000.
Amazing. Well, I don't think there's a better note to end on than that. If I can't get Garak on here, I think that'll be the climax. Thank you guys again for tuning into the Double R Diner. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to eat, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep that advice in mind from earlier in the show. Oh man. All right. All right. I think we're wrapping it up. Thank you guys again for tuning in to this diatribe, to this whatever you would even call it. After show, something. Appreciate it as always. Richard Crook, Lady, Seamus, spending your Friday nights with the Loud Sound Epicenter crew. Much appreciated. I don't know. I don't know what I should eat. I'm kind of losing it, to tell you the truth. So, you know, to make this show look more like a TV show, I had this, which I stopped showing in view of the camera. So I don't know. There's not really much of just kind of shove that aside. Anyways. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll sleep. Who knows? But thank you guys. I feel like I just keep saying it. Paul Fahrenheit. I'll be going on his podcast soon. And hopefully you guys have a great Easter weekend. Go to church. I was surprised to hear Thomas is getting back into it. It's great to hear. I didn't expect him to say that. So, would Thomas do some readings sometime? What do you mean by that? Do some readings. Thank you, everybody. If you want a quick clarification, I'm a little lost here. And it's probably me because I'm losing focus here. Use the mug to make a cup of tea. Go English Ace. Good call, Richard. Yeah, maybe that's the move. Man, Chicago typewriter. Oh. Like, is he going to do more long-form content? I think he said that on his Twitter. I forget. Did he say that? Anyways. Yeah, Thomas will probably be doing more written content soon. So look forward to that. And all of you guys, go to church. Stay holy, you know. And thank you for tuning in. We'll don't know when we'll be back, but we'll see. So thank you guys for stopping by. As always, have a great rest of your weekend.